Meeting order, invocation by Pastor Zach Trout.
Let's pray. God, we want to take a moment before this meeting begins to thank you for your love for each one of us, for your grace, and for your protection as you watch over us. We thank you for giving us work to be a part of that makes a difference in our communities and in the lives of other people. We ask you to be with us now in this meeting. It's in your Son's name that we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Larry Bud.
Here.
Sean Burdell. Lenny
Here.
Gomez. Bruce Jones.
Here.
Leann Zuddy.
Here.
Tim Allen.
Here.
Martin Boda.
Here.
Earl Walters.
Here.
All aldermen are present. Alderman, tonight I'd like to honor a group of volunteers that volunteer their time for the betterment of Taylorville. In the past, they have performed many tasks throughout the years for people in need. After the tornado on December 1st, I asked them if they would help out our tornado victims, and they have done a wonderful job in receiving money and also receiving applications for need. Now they are faced with the great task of distributing money as well as repairing and rebuilding our community. I'd like to mention them individually. They're a board of 13 members. Ed Legg, Reverend Bill Kearns, Becky Tuxhorn, Linda Hall, Steve Smedeke, Jan Smedeke, Brad Denning, Lois Hesse, Mary Linda Graham, James Daughtery, Yolanda Morocco, Kevin Brown, and Dolly Brown. If they'd come forward, I'd like to present them with this plaque. It says, Volunteer of the Month is awarded to Missions for Taylorville for outstanding volunteerism after the December 1st, 2018 tornado, for helping those in need and for helping to make Taylorville a great place to live. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Mrs. Brown. Mrs. Brown. They're coming.
Tonight, we also recognize Alderman Bruce Jones for 17 years of great service to Ward 3 and also to our community. If Mr. Jones would step forward, I have a little plaque I'd like to give him. Presented to Alderman Bruce Jones in recognition of 17 years of service to the city of Taylorville, serving as Alderman representing Ward 3. Congratulations. Mr. Jones would like to say a few words.
I don't know if I want to do this standing up, but I do know I have to do it with my glasses on because that's the only way I can read what I wrote. My wife said to keep it short. I have all of this up here. It has nothing to do with that. That's for the next person who comes in to fill my spot after the election. And I wish that person, whoever it is, whether it's Billy or Megan, I wish you all the best of luck. Run a clean campaign and make Taylorville proud. With that said, first I would like to say it has been an honor to have served the residents of the city of Taylorville, and especially those in the 3rd Ward. I'd also like to say that no elected official can do this job on their own. Without the ability to work together as a team, there can be no success for any one individual. There can also be no success without the ability to listen and to learn. You notice that there was a short pause when I said the word listen. The reason I said that is because you cannot listen effectively if you are not focused on what you're listening to. This is where the learning part begins. I do have to thank a few people that have made an impact on my life, who I've been fortunate enough to listen and to learn from along the way. Of course, my father, who taught me many things in this life from the beginning to his departure about 8 years ago. I've been told many times that having my father as my example was a big advantage in being able to serve this community as he did for over 30 years. A quartet of teachers in the Taylorville Junior High School consisting of Annette Spears, Bernadette Salisbury, Marsha Blackman, and Janet Rapay did their very best to educate and mold into a useful vessel a very rough lump of clay. I would have had to say that this is when I learned to effectively listen well. It was also when I learned that civics is not just a class in school, but it's something that you live every day. Another teacher that I would like to say influenced me in many positive ways, even though I did not have him as a teacher, was Mr. Jack Brown. Looking at his life and service, not only in teaching, but as an administrator for our schools, an economic development administrator for the city of Taylorville and Christian County, and a member of the Taylorville City Council for many years, afforded me a front row seat and an education in being a positive role model for this community. And in my mind, he is definitely the #1 class act in Taylorsville. The last educator that I would like to thank holds a special place in my life and my heart. She is my wife, and her name is Edie Jones. I've seen the quintessential example of a compassionate, caring, and loving individual who gives sacrificially not only to her students, but to all she comes in contact with. To watch her make a difference in the lives of so many people has afforded me an education and an opportunity to listen and to learn and to be inspired to be a much better person in this world. With these wonderful educators in both my past and my present that I have taken the time to listen to and learn from, allowed me to be able to create a personal mission statement that I try to live by each day. And that is, if you fail to learn, you fail to live. So learn something every day so you can live for a better tomorrow. And in closing, I would like to thank former Mayor James Montgomery, who gave me my first appointment on the council, all of the elected officials, superintendents, and department heads that I've had the distinct pleasure of serving with over the last 17 years, and the wonderful and talented ladies in the city clerk's office who make every alderman look much better than they truly are, as well as all of the city employees. who make our community what they really are. And my last most sincere thank you goes to God and my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, the one that I have listened to and learned in my life that if I serve him first, I can serve everyone else better. And so I'd like to thank you all very much for coming and celebrating with me on this, my last meeting with Taylorville City Council. Thank you very much. I thought that I would leave after this, but since my resignation is until the end of the 19th, I think I'm going to stay. Finish off.
The part of your family is leaving, so
But, you know, the rest of
congratulations.
my family can leave. I love you all, but we got business to do. Stay in your lane, bro. Thank you all for coming.
Very good. 7 months from now.
So you're out of here? Not that you're counting.
There we go.
Your Honor. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Omnibus vote designation. Motion by Alderman Dorsones, second by Alderman Bertle. Roll call.
Sean Bertle.
Yes.
Ernie Dorchenez.
Yes.
Bruce Jones. Leland Zadi.
Yes.
Jim Olive.
Yes.
Martin Boda.
Yes.
Earl Walters.
Yes.
Larry Bud.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. Minutes of the public hearing held February 4th, 2019. Minutes of the regular meeting held February 4th, 2019. Minutes of the Emergency Services Committee meeting held February 7th, 2019. Minutes of the Personnel Committee meeting held February 7th, 2019. Minutes of the Water Environmental Committee meeting held February 13th, 2019. And minutes of the Lake and Airport Committee meeting held February 13th, 2019. Motion to approve all these.
So moved, Your Honor.
Motion by Alderman Walters. Second by Alderman Olive. Roll call.
Ernie Dorchenez.
Yes.
Bruce Jones. Leland Zadi.
Yes.
Jim Olive. Martin Boda.
Yes.
Earl Walters.
Yes.
Larry Bud.
Yes.
Sean Bertle.
Motion passes 7-0. Motion to authorize and direct the mayor to sign vendor invoice number 202257 for airport project number TAS 4342 in the amount of $2,052.64 for professional services rendered from CMT and forward the request to IDOT for disbursement and approved payment of same pending receipt of disbursement.
Make that a motion.
Motion by Alderman Lanzadi, second.
Second.
Alderman Olive, roll call.
Leland Zadi.
Yes.
Jim Olive.
Yes.
Martin Boda.
Yes.
Earl Walters.
Yes.
Larry Bud.
Yes.
Sean Bertle.
Yes.
Ernie Dorchenez.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0. Motion to authorize and direct the mayor to sign vendor invoice number 202264 for airport project number TAS 4308 in the amount of $18,969.47 for professional services rendered from CMT and forward the request to IDOT for disbursement and approved payment of same pending receipt of disbursement.
I'd like to make that a motion.
Motion by Alderman Manzotti, second by Alderman Bud. Roll call.
Jim Olive.
Yes.
Martin Boda.
Yes.
Earl Walters.
Yes.
Larry Bud.
Yes.
Sean Bertle.
Yes.
Ernie Dorchenez.
Yes.
Bruce Jones.
Yes.
Leland Zadi.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0. Motion to rescind previous action to bid and or advertise and fill dispatcher position.
I'll make that motion, Your Honor.
Motion by Alderman Voda,
Second.
second by Alderman Bud. Comment.
Gentlemen, this is in reference to the 8-0 vote we did to move forward with replacing the dispatcher who was transitioned into a different position through the bidding process. After discussions with the mayor, Mr. Budd, it was determined that it would be best to hold this off at this time. The mayor had some good ideas of possibly using the SRO officer during the summer months to try to take care of this position as opposed to going ahead and filling the position full-time again and exposing us with another salary and benefits packages we would have to financially support. So with that, that's why we're bringing this back to the table. Not that we won't fill this in the future. In the future, we'll have to go back to committee, get approved. But this time, due to the financial situation of the city, we are looking to withhold and withdraw this at this time. Thank you, Your Honor.
Roll call.
Martin Boda?
Yes.
Earl Walters?
Yes.
Larry Bud?
Yes.
Sean Bertle?
Yes.
Bernie
Yes.
Dorchenez? Bruce Jones?
Yes.
Lee Landzadi?
Yes.
Jim Olive?
Motion carries 8-0. Did you get the original signed copy of it?
I did not,
You did not.
so I will need to amend this.
You need to amend this into acceptance and approval of the ordinance once Julie gets the original signed copy. We do have a copy of it.
All right, Rocky emailed all of us this afternoon, a scanned copy of this signed document, but until we have it in my hands, which did not arrive today, he wanted me to amend this motion to read as is stated and then add following receipt of the original appropriately signed and notarized signed instrument.
So I need a motion to
I'll make that
authorize.
motion, Your Honor.
and direct-
Second.
Motion by Alderman Walters, second by Alderman Jones.
Quick question, what's the ordinance reference date?
It's removing Cypress Creek from, changing the wording somewhat for the solar farm.
What he's been discussing with Cypress Creek and solar.
This has been going on
Jane
for
Solar for 6 months.
quite some time.
For 8 months.
Yes.
So roll call.
Earl Walters?
Yes.
Larry Bud?
Yes.
Sean Bertle?
Yes.
Bernie Dorchenez?
Yes.
Bruce Jones?
Yes.
Lee Landzadi?
Yes.
Jim Olive?
Yes.
Martin Boda?
Yes.
Motion carries 8-0. The city attorney updates. Julie gave all the updates from Rocky. Any questions or anything on that? Hearing none, let's go on to the mayoral update. Tonight, we honor the Volunteer of the Month, Missions for Taylorville. Our prayers are with them as they oversee this great task of rebuilding and helping Taylorville. Tonight, we also recognize Alderman Bruce Jones for 17 years of great service to Ward 3 and also our community. And as I said at our last council meeting, he is the example that I wish all aldermen follow, being very well prepared at all committee meetings, and the word he used in his great speech was listen before you speak. And I think all of us can get a little bit of a reminder from Alderman Jones. We continue in our efforts to clean up our town as we tore down 2 more houses and expecting to tear 2 more down in the next 2 weeks. The one on Vanderveer Street and also the one on Park Avenue will be torn down hopefully in the next 2 weeks. It's been a problem, the one on Park Avenue especially. As spring approaches, we will work with our residents in helping them recover from the tornado. The water plant continues to come along fine, with HSHS and Steak and Shake both in their last 2 months of building and hope to be open soon. Probably by the 1st of April, Steak and Shake is what they said, and maybe May 1st or mid-May for HSHS. Finances remain tight, and I'd like to inform all that overtime, like to be informed of all overtime that we will experience in the future. We had a little overtime this weekend for our street department that I didn't think was necessary, and I talked with Superintendent Wiseman about that, so I'm asking all superintendents to please let me know about all overtime before it happens. And no purchases will be authorized at this time without seeing Larry Bud or myself to get anything purchased. That's how dire needs we are. So, committee reports. Discussions and or motions to approve, adopt, and or deny, and or table, and or amend, and or refer to an appropriate committee in whole or in part the matters regarding the following subject matters discussed at the committee level. Emergency services. Alderman Dorsones.
Thank you, Your Honor. Emergency Services, the first motion to come out of the meeting was a motion to recommend the city council to direct the city attorney to prepare the proposed ambulance ordinance as presented. I'd like to make that in form of motion.
Motion by Alderman Dorsones, second by Alderman Voda. Roll call.
Larry Bud,
Yes.
Sean Burdell.
Yes.
Bernie Dorchenez.
Yes.
Bruce Jones,
Yes.
Leland Zadi,
Yes.
Jim Olive,
Yes.
Martin Boda,
Yes.
Earl Walters.
Yes.
Motion carries 8-0.
Next motion was to recommend the city council to accept applicant number 1 and applicant number 2 as volunteer firefighters. I'd like to make that in the form of a motion.
Motion by Alderman Dorsones, second by Alderman Voda. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right, Water and Environmental Committee, Alderman Bertle.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First motion was recommended the city council to authorize and direct the mayor to sign pay request number 19 from Crocker Construction in an amount of $703,560.40 for the work on the new water treatment plant and forward the request to the IEPA low interest loan program for disbursement and approved payment of same pending receipt of disbursement from the IEPA. This conditioned upon a receipt of a signed mechanics lien waiver in this amount and recommendation by the project engineer that the work has been satisfactorily performed. I'll make that one motion.
Motion by Alderman Bertle, second by Alderman Bud. Roll call.
Sean Burdell.
Yes.
Bernie Dorchenez.
Yes.
Bruce Jones.
Yes.
Leland Zadi.
Yes.
Jim
Yes.
Olive, Martin Boda,
Yes.
Earl Walters.
Yes.
Larry Bud.
Yes.
Motion carries 8-0.
The next motion was recommended to the city council to pay Benton and Associates $62,356.81 for the work performed related to the construction of a new water treatment plant from December 23rd of 2018 to February 2nd of 2018 and May 28th of 2017 through July 22nd of 2017. I'll make that form of motion with comment.
Motion by Alderman Bertle, second by Alderman Bud. Comment, Alderman Bertle.
For those who wasn't at the Water Environmental Committee, there was I hate to say lost invoice, but a misplaced invoice from Benton and Associates, and it had been double checked that it did not arrive, did not get paid, so we're going back to, make that right. So that's the reason there's 2 invoices this month, and that's the reason that the price is a little bit higher than normal.
Roll call.
Bernie Dorchenez.
Yes.
Bruce Jones.
Yes.
Leland Zadi.
Yes.
Jim Olive.
Yes.
Martin Boda.
Yes.
Earl Walters.
Yes.
Larry Bud.
Yes.
Sean Burdell.
Yes.
Motion carries 8-0.
Next motion was to recommend to the city council to pay Clark Dietz an amount of $2,030 for work performed related to the construction of a new water treatment plant from December 1st of 2018 to January 25th of 2019. I'll make that form of motion.
Motion by Alderman Bertle, second by Alderman Bud. Roll call.
Bruce Jones.
Yes.
Leland Zadi.
Yes.
Jim Olive.
Yes.
Martin Boda.
Yes.
Earl Walters.
Yes.
Larry Bud.
Yes.
Sean Burdell.
Yes.
Bernie Dorchenez.
Yes.
Motion carries 8-0.
And the last motion was to recommend to the city council to award the low bid for hydrants to Core and Main at a cost not to exceed $6,215.70. I'll make that form.
Second, Sean.
Motion by Alderman Bertle, second by Alderman Walters. Roll call.
Leland Zadi.
Yes.
Jim Olive.
Yes.
Martin Boda.
Yes.
Earl Walters.
Yes.
Larry Bud.
Yes.
Sean Burdell.
Yes.
Bernie
Yes.
Dorchenez. Bruce Jones.
Yes.
Motion carries 8-0. Lincoln Airport, Alderman Gonzalez.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to make a motion to recommend to the city council to allow the superintendent Jackson to seek bids for cabinet cleaning and sanitation service. Make in the form of a motion.
Motion by Alderman Gonzalez,
Second.
second by Alderman Bertle. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Next motion is to recommend to the city council to approve the request and issue a special events permit for 2019 Lake Campers calendars of events contingent upon the receipt of proper paperwork. I'll make that in the form of a motion.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Gonzalez, second by Alderman Bertle. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Motion to approve and or ratify payment of bills, $1,250,379.72. Motion by Alderman Bertle, second by Alderman Motion by Alderman Bud, second by Alderman Bertle. Comment, Alderman Bud.
Electric, $16,114.25. Fuel, $13,000.85. Telephone, $1,113.46. Garbage, $3,913. Big R, Taylorville, Feed, Ron's, Ace, Urban, $1,788.06. Napa, O'Reilly's and AutoZone, $1,097.42. U.S. Bank, $3,782.33. Illinois Public Risk for March, $24,237. Computer text, $4,266.22. Sterling Codifiers, $1,405. USP, United States Post Office, $1,000. Larry Service Center, $2,616.27. Blueville Garage, $1,446.91. Beckett's Carpet Care for $2,560. Certified Labs, $4,581.12. Ford and Harrison, Labor Attorney, $3,192. Police and Fire Uniforms, $1,391.33. Police Department, Nelson Systems, this is a 3-year maintenance contract, $10,421.63. Ray O'Haron from Uniforms and Equipment, $1,949.32. Street Department, Bodine Electric, $3,324.96. Cargill for 158 tons of salt, $11,690.24. Pine and Farms for tree removal, $1,100. PH Broughton for Premix, $1,026.68. Raw Equipment for rubber snow blade, $1,560. Water Department, Blocker Construction, $1,020,805.01. Benton and Associates, $62,356.81. Clark Dietz, $2,030. Chemicals, $20,323.85. Hydrokinetics Corp. for a pump, $3,606. Tyler Technology, this is a license fee, $2,200. Midwest Meter, $1,023.96. Robert Rickey, $1,015. PDC Labs for water tests, $1,103.75. U-Line for office equipment, $1,958.05. Sewer Department, Panel Limestone for Steak and Shake, $5,038.29. And Cemetery for Pyramid Marble, $1,387. This totals to $1,241,000. It's somewhere I made a mistake. $1,241,000 and some odd dollars. Because it's small. I missed the number at the end. Sorry about that.
Well, sound like my wife. Bouncing the checkbook.
Hopefully it's a small number.
It's a small number.
All right. Roll call.
Jim Olive?
Yes.
Martin Boda?
Yes.
Earl Walters?
Yes.
Larry Bud?
Yes.
John Burns? Bernie Dorchenez?
Yes.
Bruce Jones?
Yes.
Leland Bobby?
Yes.
Motion carries 8-0. First subparagraph G of 5 ILCS 120/2.06. This portion of the city council meeting is reserved for any person wishing to address the council on any relevant subject matters concerning the city. The Illinois Open Meetings Act, 5 ILCS 120/1FC, mandates no action shall be taken on subject matters not listed on the agenda. That the council may direct staff to address the topic or refer the subject matter to a future council and/or committee meeting. If anyone wishes to address the council, please provide your name and address, limit your comments or presentation to 3 minutes, and avoid repetitious comments. Thank you. Anyone would like to mention anything to the council?
Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn by Alderman Jones, second by Alderman Bertle. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Mr. Jones's last council meeting is officially adjourned.